Hi, I'm Mitch.
And I'm Todd.
And we are the Grizzled Geeks. So now we're going to talk a little bit about movies and TV on Showtime with the Geeks.
Showtime!
All right, so let's head right into it. So Thor Ragnarok coming out soon, or how do you pronounce that?
Ragnarok down here in the South. It's Thor Ragnarok.
There you go.
Yeah, this is kind of upsetting to me. I saw the pictures, and I am very much, when it comes to comic book stuff, I'm a fan of canon. I like my heroes to look in real life like they look in the comics. I'm just a stickler that way. So, you know, the whole leather outfits of the X-Men kind of didn't go over, but, you know, Bryan Singer had a point. You didn't want to see them in yellow spandex, so I get it. But the short hair thing, and not even blonde hair, short brown hair, just makes me kind of think that maybe Chris Hemsworth has finally reached fuck it.
It's still kind of blonde. It's not full on brown hair.
But it's not Thor's hair.
So just so you know, in the comics right now, that's the hair that Thor, the character Thor, is rocking. He's got short hair like that.
So even the artists have just, they're phoning it in now. They've given up on drawing Thor hair. They're like, you know, he needs a haircut. We're gonna give Thor short hair.
Of course,
I'm not a fan.
In the comics, he only has one arm, so they didn't do that here.
Jeez, they took his hair away. They took his arm away.
Spoilers.
Well, you know,
Spoilers. What's going to happen in this movie?
So they're making a lot of changes at Marvel. I also heard that, not to be outdone, Chris Evans is going to be fat and bald in the next Captain America movie titled America. So
that was a terrible joke.
All right. So but other than that, the world is supposed to be colorful and exciting. The new Ragnarok movie. I'll probably go see it. I go see all the Marvel stuff. So.
Yeah, and one of the cool things that I was reading about this one, apparently they're going to be on some other planet. Thor's going to lose his hammer, and then it's going to be a gladiator planet. So you're going to get a little bit of Planet Hulk. I don't know if you ever read the comics or watched the shows on Netflix or whatever. This gladiator Hulk, and he's the current champion of the gladiatorial rings. So he was missing from the last Avengers movie, and now we know where he was. Where
he's been. You know, if Thor lost his hammer, that happens. You get to a certain age, they make infomercials about it all the time on TV. So they've got something for you, Thor. They can fix you right up and put the steel back in the hammer, if you know what I mean.
Oh, that is so wrong.
He's like, Lady Sif, I lost my hammer.
You had to go there.
I did. Yeah.
All right. So since you're going straight to hell anyway, quick PSA. Scarlett Johansson.
Hey, not a PSA, only a TSA, a Todd service announcement. Everybody else can just stay out of this one. Scarlett Johansson is getting divorced, so I'm going to be preparing with a tummy tuck and a nose job just to get ready, and a lottery ticket. Winning a lottery ticket is the important third part of that ingredient. I did hear that her husband's trying to reconcile with her, and I was like, you know, dude, you're going to make me use liver and cheese in a sentence. Liver alone, cheese mine.
That was almost worse than your last joke.
They just don't get any better than that. So apparently Thor's not the only one losing his hammer since Scarlett's leaving her husband.
Yeah, he's definitely a fool if he lets her go. So, yeah, hope it works out for him. On to something coming up soon. Star Trek Discovery, the new Star Trek show coming out, and seems that the captain is going to be cast and played by Harry Potter alum Jason Isaacs. He played Lucius Malfoy. Also,
yes.
I didn't realize it, but you pointed out to me. Who else does he play?
So he plays, of course, the villain in the OA, and this just reminded me, you know, if Scarlett Johansson's husband had put her in a little plastic box down in the basement, she wouldn't be leaving him right now, and like Jason Isaacs does. So he's onto something. Yeah, he was the bad guy in the OA, and he's a really good actor. I've seen him, and he plays a villain great. You know, he was in The Patriot. I think is the first place I saw him with the Mel Gibson movie. He played the British general or colonel who was a complete ass. So it'll be interesting to see him play a good guy. I'm assuming the captain in Star Trek Discovery is going to be a good guy.
I guess so. It's kind of weird seeing, you know, both him and his son in things right now. I guess it's the platinum blonde stuff, the hair changeover. Oh, so you're confused. Have
Yes,
you been,
he has a son?
well, in the show, in Harry Potter, Draco Malfoy.
Oh, Draco, yes. Draco on Flash.
On Flash, I went through 2 or 3 episodes before my kids pointed out to me that was Draco Malfoy, and now every time I see him, I you know, I'm yelling at the screen, "That's Draco Malfoy!" They're like, "Yeah, Dad, we get it."
Yeah, I the first time I saw him, I was like, "Oh, it's Draco. He's going to be on Flash. Well, he must be the bad guy. He's probably Anarchy or whatever the guy was called.
Alchemy.
Alchemy. I'm like, he must be Alchemy. Why else would he be on here? You know how they do? They typecast people. Once a villain, always a villain.
Yeah.
So generally, if you see somebody on a show or anything, they introduce a new character and they've got a villain that nobody knows who it is, it's going to be that person every time. The casting people have no originality because they have a little book of villains. And when they go, we need somebody to play a villain, they grab the little book of actors and they go, villains. Here's one. That's how it works.
Except his character on there wasn't so much a villain as just a dick.
Yeah, well, that's a category of villain, a special category. You know,
he was a victim. He was one of the heroes, except whenever he got mind controlled by Savitar.
Yeah, the mind control. Sure, he was mind controlled. I didn't know what I was doing. I've tried using that with my wife before. It doesn't work.
We should stop right there.
Yeah. You're supposed to vacuum. You've been playing games for 3 hours. I was mind controlled by the PlayStation.
So, speaking of other terrible ideas, the next one,
yeah.
I had to bring up the picture here. So a movie theater playground is happening. They're putting a movie theater in, and it's not, you know, a movie theater's gone out of business. It's you know, hey, we've got little kids and we want to go see the movies, so let's just bring the playground into the theater because that's not going to be distracting at all. So, you know, here on the screen.
Here on the screen is a advertisement for a video game. Is that Doom? It looks like Doom.
What are you seeing? Doom?
I'm seeing the Doom ad playing right now on Twitch.
Oh.
You know what? That's because I tried to start the video on Twitch.
Yeah, that's just you.
All right, that's just me. I was seeing the theater there for a second until Twitch decided to make me watch the other video. There we go. I'm back now with where we are with the movie theater playground. It looks like as a kid that would be fun as hell. Well, you're running around, you're playing, and
one of the things I wanted to point out with this one, and we talked about a little bit over the week as we were talking about articles. When I was young and we used to go to the drive-in theater had a little playground there. So, you know, parents would take kids there. Usually the first show would be something kids would be interested in, and then the later show would be stuff that they would be less interested in. But the parents wanted to stick around anyway. They paid for both shows. They're going to stick around and watch them anyway. You can go sleep in the back or go play at the playground. So, you know, the concept isn't new, but in a closed room, yeah, don't go there.
I get up and I'm seeing the band tonight's double feature, Bambi and I Am Curious Yellow. I don't know.
I don't think it was that different, but
so you're playing in the playground. You look back and the car's all fogged up and rocking. You're like, wow, Mom and Dad always wrestle when we come to the movies.
There you go. Yeah, you had to take it there.
I had to take it there.
So yeah, this, you know, the concept isn't new, but you know, unless they have like headphones in or something like that to where you can hear the movie, but then you can't hear your kids when they start fighting or whatever. So whatever.
All right. So you're sitting there watching the movie, and down below in the playground, the kids are playing. What happens when one of the kids falls off and busts his head in the middle of the movie? Do they stop the movie while all the parents run down to tend to the kid, Or do you just like pretend it didn't happen? You keep watching the movie while the bleeding goes on down in the corner. It just seems like a really bad idea to me.
Yeah, so it's not nearly as bad as having special theaters that allow you to have cell phones on during the show or whatever. But no, this is worse. This is way worse.
Yeah, this is a horrible idea. This is just. Here's what I'd say. They have these things. If you're a married couple and you've got small children and you really would like to go see a movie, they have a thing, a babysitter. Yeah, that's it. You get a babysitter and you go to the movies and you shut your pie hole and watch the movie like everybody else. You don't talk during the movie. You don't constantly say, is he going to die? You don't do any of that. You just watch the movie. Sorry. I've been to the movies recently.
No, that's kind of why we don't go that often.
Don't kick the fucking chair in front of you. That's the other thing.
Yeah, or just push it constantly. Rocking it back and forth. Movie theaters suck these days, and they're so expensive that kind of like what you're talking about. It's almost cheaper to buy or hire a babysitter than to buy 2 extra tickets for your kids or whatever.
Yeah, just wait. It'll come out on Redbox or HBO or Netflix or something, and you can watch it then.
There's a period of time when you have kids in between when they're born and when they're, say, old enough to watch themselves that you just don't go out and have fun anymore. Sorry, guys.
That's just, and you can't have nice things. Don't forget that.
You cannot have
nice things. No. But you'll get used to it. You'll get numb to it eventually.
And eventually they'll move out, and then you'll have free time. You'll be able to watch a movie. You'll buy new furniture.
It's not the way it works. They move out, and then you miss the shit out of them. That's how it works. Then you sit there and you look at each other going, I can't believe they left us. I can't believe this.
We haven't quite made it to that one yet, although you have, at least for the first, right?
Well, the first 2 are out, and they're at school. So we still have my son, and my wife has felt a distinct shift in the testosterone level in the house, where at dinner now it's all potty jokes and things like that with me and my son, who's 16, and the girls are off to college, and she's like, there's a disturbance in the force. Things are shifting around here. So it's been a little rough for her to adjust to, but eventually he'll be off to college or in the military or something too, and hopefully college. But maybe, just maybe, for giggles and grins, we'll go to this special movie theater, even though we don't have kids.
Just to watch other kids play?
Just to watch, yeah. No.
That's terrible. No, you won't.
That's a bad idea.
All right. Go ahead.
All right. Well, it brought me back to when our kids were really little, and we used to go to the mall just to get out of the house. We'd go to the little play area and turn our kids loose there just to get out of the house.
Those nasty playgrounds?
Those nasty playgrounds, so that's still a bad idea. So on to the next thing, which is not a bad idea. No. Anytime you want to put a kick-ass Charlize Theron in a movie, much like the old Aeon Flux movie, which I was a big fan of, she's in another movie coming out kind of similar. What's this one called?
Atomic Blonde.
Yes, it is.
So they're describing it a James Bond crossed with John Wick with a female protagonist instead of, a male. And the couple of trailers that are out already look amazing. We won't bring them up here on there, but it's looks like it's done in like that 60s or 70s style, and it's supposed to be set in Cold World Berlin. I can get it out there, I promise. But she's just kicking ass and taking names. I'm definitely interested in this. I don't know that it's one for the kids, but maybe this is a date night movie or something.
Date night, and not with the little thing down at the bottom, the little playground. No.
No. You don't want your kids watching this out of the corner of their eye. Yeah.
So probably, although I still haven't seen John Wick, so hopefully I'll get a chance to get out and see this one. It's really sad. Now we're at an age where we don't need a babysitter. We still rarely go to the movies. That's kind of sad. Well, but maybe I can drag the wife out to see this.
Yeah. We don't watch something else that often. They're just so damn expensive.
Yeah. Something else I'll be dragging the wife into the TV room to watch is the Iron Fist, which comes out in later this week, Friday, I guess it airs. or
Is that
drops.
Friday?
I guess is the right word. Yeah, it
Ooh.
drops Friday on St. Patty's Day. Don't you know?
They're just whitewashing all of the things. No. No.
Yeah, the reviews aren't good for this, and
Well,
um,
so the
they
reviews, those reviews. So it might not be a good show, but I'd rather people wait and see. Some of these shows are kind of a polarizing type of thing. A lot of people really, really loved Luke Cage, and a lot of people were just like meh, or really didn't like it. So I thought it was a good show.
I was sort of meh. I really was. I expected more from the action scenes and stuff, and for me, it was a little bit of a letdown. But that's just me.
Yeah.
They had one really good scene where he went into the place to steal the money, and that was
and he's just walking through slowly.
and just walking through, yeah, and that for me, I could have turned it off right there and not had to watch the rest of the show, but I stuck it out. I watched the whole thing. It was just okay. It was a lot of him walking. That was his fighting method, just walk. Yeah.
Well, in that one, I wish they would have got to the real villains a little sooner. So some of it dragged out a little bit long. I'll admit that. But they had a good story to tell. I liked where they eventually got to. I liked the characters that they had. It just seemed like, they maybe stretched a little bit as they were going. Not sure how they're going to get the Defenders together, based on the end of it, but we'll see.
I don't remember. I know I had some Defenders comics, but I don't remember them. So I don't remember who the big villains are in the Defenders. If it's the Red Hand or if it's, I just can't remember. But I'm definitely going to watch Iron Fist. I read the first article I read that kind of skewered it. Most of the lady writing it, most of her complaints were sort of political complaints, not really about whether it was entertaining or not. It was, things like having a white male teaching an Asian woman how to punch. She was very offended by that. And I'm like, it's a comic book movie, dude. I think you're setting your bar too high if that's your criteria for happiness.
I mean, I guess that's a good thing that people are setting their levels that high, considering how crappy for years, geek film and movies were, TV. The best thing that we had to represent, the things we cared about were Wonder Woman and the Hulk on television.
Yeah, the only thing that I kind of have a valid agreement with her on a little bit is here in, but again, this is the way the comic book character is. So if you're going to complain about the comic, what I was going to go to is the show Kung Fu. The show Kung Fu was actually conceptualized by Bruce Lee. And Bruce Lee's the one that pitched it to the studios, and he wanted to play in it. But the people in Hollywood had such a dim view of Americans, apparently, because they thought that we wouldn't be able to watch a show with an Asian lead. They said America's not ready for an Asian lead. That movie, well, as it was, Kung Fu was number one in its time slot until David Carradine quit. But so they put David Carradine in as the character in Kung Fu, I guess because he kind of looked Asian, which was even more racist than actually having Bruce Lee. Just think how fantastic that show would have been with Bruce Lee.
Had Bruce Lee in it.
It would have crushed. It would have been and he wouldn't have quit the way David Carradine quit when the show was at its height of popularity. So that's the only thing about this where I'm kind of, like, here we go again. You've got a white guy going to China and he earns the power of the Iron Fist over all the Asians who've been there their whole life. I get it. People are sensitive to that, but it is what it is. That's the way the comic book goes. Danny Rand is a white guy, and so in the show he's going to be a white guy. Marvel did have a comic called Master of Kung Fu that had a real Asian character in it that was awesome. I used to read that all the time too, and it'd be nice if he would join the Defenders. Maybe he could be the fifth Defender, and that would be less of an offender for critics.
Yeah, well, they seem to pull from that well a little bit. The white guy goes to Asian country to learn mystical arts. Maybe a movie they had out this last year.
Yeah, but to be fair, they were selling comic books to little white middle-class kids like me back then who would go into the 7-Eleven and put down their 25 cents and get a comic book, and that was their target audience. So
so they're going to give somebody that they want to see on on the pages.
Yeah.
The abilities, they're going to make them the star. So it makes sense, I guess, from the marketing standpoint. So whatever.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, wait and see on that one. Don't judge it and poo poo it before we've actually had a chance to see it.
Yeah, to me, it's just got to be entertaining. That's all I want. It's just got to be entertaining. Don't bore me, because right now people have shorter attention spans. We've seen really good TV. We've seen really good movies. So you just have to be entertaining. That's what it is. You can't have crappy fight scenes that don't look realistic. You can't have crappy acting or crappy dialogue. You got to have it all these days because we're used to getting it all. So the bar is raised pretty high. All right. Speaking of shows that give it all to you and to go
and
the
raise
extra
the bar.
mile
Yeah.
and raise the bar, it's a good segue into more talk about The Expanse. We've been spoiling the heck out of that lately. We both like that show a lot. I'm in love with the show. I think it's great. I'll save it for the spoiler we're going to do later. But I've noticed something kind of odd about it. It doesn't have the strong central character that you do in a lot of shows. It's more of an ensemble cast, but it's just so well written and well directed and produced. So you were saying, or you were pointing out this article that talks about how committed to science they are.
Yeah, so it was on the Nerdist, and they were
Hey, Chris Hardwick.
Yeah, they were explaining that they have color coding in the scripts for the actors, so that they understand what level of gravity they have in the scenes that they're going to be acting in. So they understand how the things will work, and they can get their mind in the right place whenever they're reading through and boning up on the script. I thought that was excellent. Go ahead. I'll let you do it.
He said boning.
There you go, Todd. There you go.
I'm a 5-year-old kid in a 50-year-old body. What can I say?
Yeah, and so, with a show that pays as much attention to it as they do for low gravity or no gravity, zero gravity, microgravity kind of things, they do a really good job, and it shows in the final product. It never takes me out of the show when I'm seeing something. I'm seeing them get hit with high G's, the way that they have the armrest so that his hands are still there in the console, but he just has to flick his fingers to be able to adjust things in there. All of that's designed to be realistic, and I really just appreciate what they do with the show.
That's it. I have a great appreciation for them respecting my intelligence as a viewer, despite the fact that I'm a 5-year-old in a 50-year-old body. I do look for those things because then I find it to be less insulting. You're not insulting me. You're saying, hey, you'll notice if we have something here that's not top notch, realistic looking, and so that's one of the things I love about the show.
And other franchises could really take a page from that and learn something and maybe produce something a little bit better.
You mean like some franchises that might put somebody inside of, say, a refrigerator to survive a nuclear blast?
And then launch them out of the town and then expect them to just crawl out with a couple of scrapes, dust himself off, and then get out? Yeah, maybe that. So Indiana Jones 5 is officially happening. And, Harrison Jones, as a World of Warcraft player, they have a character in there called Harrison Jones, which is a cross between Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones. So, excuse the slip, but Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford is back, and it's even being directed by Steven Spielberg. The whole crew is back together. So, if I hadn't seen the Crystal Skulls, I would be, so excited for this. But after seeing that, I don't know what to expect.
Is Shia LaBeouf going to be in this one too? Are they dragging him back in?
I don't know that he's doing anything normal these days, so I have no idea. It didn't announce that he was going to be back in. It just said Harrison Ford, Steven Spielberg, Kathleen Kennedy and Frank Marshall will produce the way that they've always done. So not a lot of details on it, just that they are making it and it's going forward. So I know that Harrison Ford has said that he wanted to do another one, and Steven Spielberg said that they wanted to do one. So I guess they got around to getting a script together that somebody decided, fuck it, it might make some money, and
I
the
want to
old
find
man's going to be back on screen.
I want to find the interview with Harrison Ford saying he wants to do another one. Yeah, I'm Indiana Jones. It's funny what a different guy he is when he's being interviewed from the guy that's on the screen.
Yeah.
I'm Mr. Monotone. All right. Well, I'll wait till it comes out before I pass my damning judgment upon it. You never know. Maybe they'll get some redemption with this one. Maybe they're taking a page from Ridley Scott, who, with the stain of Prometheus on his record, he's like, God damn it, I got to make another one now to wipe away the stain.
Yeah. Oh, well, Prometheus wasn't a terrible movie. They had some parts in there that really bothered me. It seemed kind of like they did with Episode 7 for Star Wars. They kept a lot of the same themes from the very first Alien movie, and they brought them back. The android, and having problems with that. I don't remember if he tried to betray them in there. The alien, the strong, female protagonist surviving. They tried to sort of bring at least some of the highlights back in the same way they did for Episode 7. They recreated Episode 7, Episode 4 and Episode 7 effectively. So, hopefully it comes back. And I'm looking forward to the sequel to Prometheus, even though it's, a sequel to Prometheus.
Oh, it looks really good. I'm going to run right out and see it. I ran out and saw Prometheus with my daughter. I had her watch the other Alien movies with me, except for the crappy ones. That would be 3 and 4. And then we went to the theater and watched it, and it was great.
I think 3 and 4 were different movies, but they both have their good parts. They do. All right, we can differ in opinion on this one. So we probably won't differ in opinion on the amount of fun that you might have watching an ice block melt for 20 minutes to try and figure out when something is going to go live.
How the hell does that get pitched and signed off on at HBO? Who the hell's making the decisions there? Okay, what we want to do is we're going to have a block of ice, and we're going to put the date inside the block of ice, and we all watch it melt. Okay, here's a check. Go make that. That won't piss anybody off. Do you think maybe next time you could maybe have some drying paint with the date on there, and it could dry, and then when it's finally dry, you can see the date?
Yeah.
No. This didn't go over well. People did not like this. And I don't really blame him. If I sat there for 20 minutes watching this to get a 716 pop up on the screen, I'd be a little irate too.
So where did this display? Where could you watch this? I didn't see it. I didn't even know that it happened until you told me about it.
I watched the video. I saw a news blurb on it and clicked on it. And thankfully, it had the video, and I could just fast forward. They had the whole thing, and I was dragging the thing across there. I mean, at times they sped things up with a blowtorch, and they were melting the block of ice, and it was a little more exciting. And then, of course, you get to it, and it melts, and the date comes up, and there's some dragons. I mean, it was a little more than just the block of ice, but the people who were blogging and tweeting about it were not real happy because they sat through it live waiting.
So do you think that they originally had an 8-hour event planned to have journalists looking at this ice block as it melted naturally, and then they started catching heat from Twitter or whatever, and they're like, bring in the blowtorches, speed that shit up a little bit?
I don't know. Maybe they originally it was 2 hours of video and they cut it down to 20 minutes. I don't know. I just know it didn't go all that well. But the main point of this is 7/16, July 16th is the date when we get season 7 of Game of Thrones. You said it, Rover. That's right.
All right, hold on. Let me get this real quick.
This Geeks broadcast interrupted by Doggy. Hey, what's your dog's name? Where'd he go? Did you leave me? Oh, you left me entertaining the masses all alone? This isn't going to go well. You know I'm going to have to say those words you've banned from the show. Oh, Lord. Well, fortunately, that's about all we had this week. So let me make sure. The last topic? Shit. No, it's not the last topic. We have two more things to talk about. Oh, boy. So, Logan, Deadpool. After that, is the world ready for an R-rated X-Men film? Huh. Oh, boy. That's our next topic. Mitch? Oh, yeah. And Mitch, your sky background has a big ripping hole in it. I was going to bring that up before, too. You're breaking the movie magic, Mitch. You're breaking the movie magic. Are you back? Do we have any viewers? Thank God we didn't have any live viewers for that, and you can edit that out later. Oh, boy. Your volume's not on, I think.
You know, I muted this so you didn't have to hear the dog bark. So
when the dog
what's going on?
When the bee stings.
Yeah.
When I'm feeling sad, you've got a tear in the sky behind you.
I saw that.
Man, it's starting to be like that Galaxy Quest. Shit's falling apart by the end of the show.
Yeah.
My prosthetic is coming off. Your bra is showing. It's a mess.
I could make it worse or make it maybe a little better.
All
anyway,
right, so
that's light coming in through the shades.
Yeah,
hitting the green screen behind me.
Oh, okay. So we were done with that topic, and I was getting ready to move us on to after Logan and Deadpool, is the world ready for an R-rated X-Men film? And of course, my answer to that is, I think the world is ready for an X-rated X-Men film. I mean, the X there is for a reason.
No.
Oh, Scott. Oh, Gene. Oh, Logan. Wait, what the hell is he doing here? Oh, just go with it, Scott. Yep, bud. Just go with it. Snicked. They're ready for an R-rated X-Men film, I think. You know, the leather outfits are going to get so much more exciting, I think.
No.
No. Is Stanley Kubrick still alive? Can he direct this time?
You know, Stanley Kubrick probably wouldn't mind going there for you, but he's not alive. He's not going to do it for us.
Oh, well. If it's Joel Schumacher, he could put like nipples on their little leather suits. You know, that's his thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think the world is ready for an R-rated X-Men film. But are they planning on making one? Or are they still debating it? Are they still?
Oh, so Logan is R-rated.
Yeah, Logan's R-rated. It was good too. By the way, I recommend it.
Yeah, it's definitely something I want to see. I don't know that my wife really wants to see it, and I still have to look at it and see if it's something that. Damn dog.
Bark once if you're going to go see it.
Apparently, he's not going to go see it.
Okay, looks like you're not going to see Logan.
No, it's about I never want to go there by myself. You don't want to be that guy, right?
Yeah.
So,
but if you're going to go see that movie, you may have to be that guy.
I may have to be that guy. But hopefully, it's
here's
not
what
too
you do.
bad.
You get a tablet, a piece of a notepad, and a pen, and you get your reading glasses, and you go and you watch it that way, and you make notes while you're watching it, so you look like a film reviewer or a film critic.
Yeah, that's terrible.
It would work.
The things we do to to be able to go see our movies.
There's a whole movie about all these things called The Lonely Guy. Steve Martin. You got to go watch it. It's all kinds of pointers for how to be a lonely guy. All right. Last thing that we had on there was just a little bit I put in there. I was surprised we haven't talked about the movie Life, which has Ryan Reynolds in it, which is, of course, Deadpool in space. I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah. So not Deadpool in space. It's kind of like.
Damn it.
It's more like Aliens than Deadpool, which is a good thing, right? The original, not even Aliens, Alien, right? They find something. They're trapped on this little space station above Earth. They have alien life form in there with them, and then they've got to make the call. You know, do we save people or do we burn this thing up in orbit and save humanity?
I think it would have been better if it had Deadpool in space because he would know what to do. Maximum effort. That's what he'd be doing. I kind of want to see this
Time to
movie.
make the chimichangas.
That's right. I'll go see it because at this point, I appreciate what Ryan Reynolds did so much with Deadpool that to pay him back, I'll go see anything they put him in. That's a smart move with the studios. They should be like, Ryan Reynolds is trying to get as much money as he can so he can make the next Deadpool. Let's put him in here. That'll bring the fans in. So I'm going to go see it.
I'll see it, but I'm not going to go to the theater to see this one.
What?
It just doesn't make the cut. There are very few movies that I actually go to the theater for nowadays, and this is not going to make it.
We could go to a matinee. We could do Geeks at the theater. We could do our podcast with our phones while we're watching the movie. We won't
get us kicked out.
No, not at all. What's this? Where's the place where if you talk at all they throw you out? Which one is that?
Alamo Drafthouse.
Alamo Drafthouse. We'll go there and try this.
Not only are we out with our cameras, filming, but we're streaming this live on the internet. You guys don't have any problem with that, do you?
Oh, yeah, that'll go over. That'll go over really well.
Lead balloon. All right, so
all right.
Well, let's wrap it up. So
this
is our we're trying a new thing this week, splitting up the segments, and we'll put them up piecemeal on YouTube. And so let us know how you guys like it, or if you have any ideas for improvements, that kind of thing. You can hit us up at Grizzle Geeks on Twitter. We've got a Facebook page linked off Twitch and on YouTube. And that dog will not stop. And you can send us feedback at show@grizzlegeeks.com.
Bark once if you want to go see Logan. Dog hates Logan.
Not
I'm
again.
telling you. He hates that movie.
He does hate that movie. All right. So with that, I'm Mitch.
And I'm Todd.
All right. And we are the Grizzle Geeks. Thank you and good night.